Guys, I have a complaint. Here is my complaint. I would like to... In the past, we've done bad reviews of events. And I would like to do a bad review. But I keep getting invited to fucking good events. And I have nothing bad to say about shit. And it makes me feel like I'm losing my edge. With that being said, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the capsule.
Woo, woo, woo. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the capsule.
No. Just because you did one episode without me doesn't mean you can fucking take over.
A great episode. Yeah.
It was a great episode.
Yeah.
But the king is back.
Okay.
Take it slow. No, I'm joking. You guys did a great job. All right, so we are going to do a double episode, which is why we're wearing these two t-shirts that we're wearing.
Merch repping.
We're merch repping. So first of all, we've got JOAT Festival, and second of all, we've got Flavourama. We're here to talk about the both because we did not have time to do an episode in between because I went literally not literally, but pretty much from Montreal straight to Austria. I think next year I'm actually going to have to go straight from Montreal.
That would make sense.
To Austria because I stopped in London for one night and then went. But yeah, so it's been busy. I've been tired, but it's been great. Mm-hmm. First of all, I was in your hometown.
Yes. Jack
of all trades, JOAT Festival. Shout out to Haya, Andy, Ross, and the whole JOAT team. Also shout out to Vera Lou.
Yeah.
Who put on the live stream. You watched the live stream.
Yes.
Of the breaking in hip hop, not popping.
No, I just didn't have time because my schedule got so crazy by the time that it was... Well, because it was Sunday night. Yeah. By the time it was out here, it was Monday.
And then we're going to talk about your...
Yeah, my week was a maniac week, so I just didn't have time to watch it.
Yeah, fair. Okay, so where to begin on JOAT? Where should we talk about JOAT?
I feel like at the start.
All right, let's start at the start. So for those that don't know about JOAT, JOAT is in Montreal, Canada, Jack of all trades festival, now shortened to JOAT. It's basically a concept battle. And it's breaking hip hop and popping. It started with popping, which is now the grand finale event. Mm-hmm. They've added breaking and hip hop
and kids
and the kids battle for the first time. Although
it didn't have
the kids battle. Yeah, the kids battle is just a straight up like all stars battle.
Right.
But yeah, it's the main three styles have these concepts where they're built, which is really cool actually. They're not the same concepts for each.
Yeah.
Category. They're built for the specific style. So, they're concepts in each round. It's 2 rounds from the top 16 upwards.
Yeah.
And each section of the battle has 2 different concepts.
Yeah.
So I think like in hip hop, the first one is like bounce and rock, and then freak one foundation.
Yeah.
Also, you know what they did on the live stream, because I was hosting the live stream, by the way. And they, I think I told you this, but they updated the rules like the week before the thing and didn't change the website. So I'm on the live stream, because also I had to stall because it was like not stall, but like, in the countdown before the live stream, like I was talking and I had to fill some time to like intro people. So I went through all the rules in detail. I was like, so then there's this one and that means this. And then it comes on and then the host comes on. He's like, so the first round is this. And I'm like, sorry guys, that's not what I just said. And then they were like, oh yeah, we changed the rules. And I was like, right, so ignore everything I just said for the last 20 minutes.
But I think it was only like 1 or 2 that were different.
Yeah, and it was only in the, I want to say in the hip hop or something.
Yeah.
Because it used to be Freak Your Foundation was in the first round, which is like just dance with foundation in however you want. And now they've changed it to Freak One Foundation. So it's like you pick a move.
And you freak it.
And as in, that's such a North American Montreal way to say it. Freak your foundation, yo. Like in England, they'd be like, what do you mean to freak it? What does that exactly mean?
And they're like, with a cup of tea.
Yeah. But it just means play with one foundation. That opens up a whole can of worms of like what counts as foundation. Because I would just because there's also bounce and rock and then freak one foundation. I would just do bounce again.
Yeah.
Like, it's a foundation. What you got to say?
Yeah.
Go on.
Is it?
I mean, this is a whole other topic that we can't get into now, but in my opinion, hip-hop wise, bounce and rock and like the kind of swing groove movement is your foundation. I think everything above that is vocab. I don't think vocab is the same as foundation.
Like that Running Man is not like a foundation, but...
It's a vocab because it's like you can make up vocab, for example. You can make up social does. They're being made up every day. So it's like... you know, like in the 90s you had Running Man, you had all these different steps. Now you have, I don't know, like this is a bit dated, but like the Woe or like
the Renegade.
Yeah, all this type of stuff. Yeah. But the thing, their vocab moves, but the reason they're hip hop is because underneath them is always a bounce. Every one of those, even like the most new school move, if you take away like the arms, you take away the legs, you're left with some bouncy movement. So that's why, that's what I think qualifies it as a hip hop move. And that's what like unifies all different types of hip hop. Memphis juking, even if I know Chicago footwork is more labeled as like in the house category ish, but like, when they did like Just a Boo and stuff, they entered, like Light Feeters entered hip hop and Chicago footwork people entered house. I don't know how. That's a whole other thing. But my thing of like all these styles, you know, if you take Memphis Joking, whether you take even like Jersey Club, any of these things, the thing that unifies them all to be hip hop dances is there's a bounce underneath.
Yeah.
Light Feet is a hip hop dance because there's a bounce underneath everything they do. Then they add their own vocab on top, which makes it Light Feet, which makes it 90s hip hop, which makes it Atlanta hip hop, which makes it even like the way the UK does hip hop, like, you know what I mean? Like all the type of things that's what I think that the hip hop category is unified by, is the bounce and rock. And then everything else on top is like where you come from or what that vocab is. Does that make sense? Yeah. There's historical vocab, which like if I'm judging, I don't penalize people for not doing any like hip hop vocab steps, for example, or like, oh, you didn't do enough 90s. Like I wouldn't penalize you for that. As long as you're doing bounce and rock and like having, I don't know what to call this type of like swingy groove type of, I think groove. People call it groove, but I don't also agree that that's the right word for that, but that's another topic. We're on tangents upon tangents at this point. Yeah. But like, if you choose to put vocab on top, that can enhance what you're showing me about your understanding of the history. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's not a necessity in order to do the style. Because there's plenty of good like Sons of Wind and people like that. I've even seen some of like Elite Force do judge demos that they're not doing steps in it, but it's still hip hop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I feel like the steps are like the foundation of what identifies the style. You know what I mean? Like everything that is the base is I would call it groove.
Yeah.
And like what you call vocab for me is like the foundation of like what that style is. You know what I mean?
But so then if I don't do any of those vocab steps, am I not doing the style? That's the question. Also, it's worth saying that it's like perspective and it's nuance and it's what's the word, like semantics. Like we're basically arguing like what does the word foundation mean? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
but I think it's like I agree with you completely about like kind of the underlying thing, and it's like as long as you have some form of like bounce or groove or whatnot, it's like things can still be qualified as hip hop. But I think even though I agree that stuff like the Running Man, like blah blah blah, all those are moves. For me, they are like what you're saying, like. They are kind of like foundational move where it's kind of an era where like kind of these movements being connected by that underlying thing is what kind of made it like kind of started this movement and like started to spread it as like kind of a coded dance, you know? So I think it's like maybe there's a layer of like those kind of moves that are more like from 80s, 90s that are now maybe more considered like foundational vocab, maybe. Yeah. Like, but that are kind of at the basis of like what things have been built on, you know. But I agree and I hear you. I just think that might be the perspective that they were looking at.
I just think it's like, again, I wouldn't necessarily like disagree with someone if they said the opposite. It depends on how you define the words. And in order for me to like, especially because I've had to like come up with opinions way before the pod, like in order to teach this shit. So like the way I'm teaching it is like, for me, foundation means without this, you're not doing the style.
Yeah.
And vocab means you start to use words in air quotes from the language, right? So these are like, I would almost say they're almost like foundational vocab.
That's what
I just said.
But I think there's a difference between the foundation of the style and like, So this is where I'm agreeing with you. So it's like it's if we're going to start talking about vocab, these are some of the vocabulary moves that like make up the origins of the style. For sure, I agree. But I don't think that you need to do them in order to be doing the style. I think you as soon as you're bouncing and rocking, you're doing the style. Because this is, if you go to a club, there's like, depending on where you go or what era or what time, like if you go to Atlanta in the 2000s, they're doing different dances to New York in the 90s. It doesn't mean one of them isn't doing hip hop, but what they're both doing is bouncing.
Yeah.
You go to any club, any place in the world, you look around, you see the whole crowd doing this. And it's like, for me, this is what makes the foundation of that hip hop style. It's the club bounce in whatever way, like, like Memphis Jukin, Jersey Club, like whatever. They're all different ways of bouncing, but they all have bounce.
Yeah.
And then from there you have the vocab, and I think this is a whole other conversation which I'm definitely not getting into right now about like when and where hip hop as a style started to become codified and why.
Sure.
And that's a whole
other thread we're not pulling on today.
If we pull that, it's gonna go
not today
deeper. So back to JOAT.
So freak your foundation.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what people tune in for, is the tangents. We should be called the Tangent London. No, that was a tangent. I should get back on track.
Yes.
All right. So yeah, JOAT has all these different categories. They're really well built in order to kind of bring out the best in the dancers. I think one thing that we were talking about last year and this year, although it was less obvious this year, I think, but it's like to do the prelims. This is one thing I would change. We'll get to my criticisms of JOAT, but I think one thing I would change is like the prelims are, you just do a normal round. So you just do hip hop or you just do popping or whatever. And I think I get why, because it's easier. However, because it's a concept battle, I'm like, I personally feel like you should have to do either, like, there's a few ways to do it. Either you pull something out of a hat. So it's like, all right, next prelim up, bounce and rock and tuts and lines or whatever it might be. And you have to just do those ones. And if you can't do any of the, like, if you can't pass prelims doing one of the concepts in the battle, why are you shouldn't get through, you know? But the other thing is, like, because there isn't, it's just a straight round. Sometimes good dancers get through, but then they get exposed, which maybe is the point. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's like they get exposed because it's like last year we were like, oh my God, like, I don't want to name names, but it's like I don't know. I'm like, for me, if you're a popper and you can't do a round of waves or you can't do a round of lines and tuts, you know what I mean? It's like, I kind of get it if you're like, all right, you don't have like, you know, there's one category that's called bottom, which is like anything below the waist. So like knees, feet, footwork, legs, on the floor, whatever. If you don't have floor work, I get it. You know, like not everybody's strong in that way, or you might have injury. Like there's reasons to not have floor work. I don't know that there's reasons to not have a round of waving. Or in hip hop, there's no reason to not have a round of bounce and rock. I'm not saying 7, 8 rounds. One?
Yeah.
Like you can't do one round of bounce and rock. Like, come on. This is a bit ridiculous, no?
Bounce and rock I get, but the waving, I don't know. I feel like it depends on like what's popping for you and then what is like, you know.
But I'm like, isn't this one of the basic things that
this is the thing with popping, I think, and like the whole reason why Haya like conceived the event the way that he did is that like popping is kind of an umbrella.
Yeah.
So many.
Like it's an umbrella term, or not an umbrella term, but an umbrella style that has a lot of different like speciality that makes it up, you know, where you can have like kind of someone who does like straight boogaloo, and then you can have someone who's really into like the illusionary, like you can have a like storyboard P person, and you can have somebody like Boogaloo Sam. Like I think there's like such a spectrum that exists within popping that is like the point was to kind of test people, but also to like highlight and kind of celebrate the different identities that can exist within it, because I think like less so now, but I think like some years ago contests and battles were very much kind of rewarding like a specific kind of popper and somebody who had a specific approach and whose dance looked a specific way, and it wasn't necessarily so inclusive of people who have different.
I think that can still be the case across a lot of styles.
Yeah, but I think that was kind of the whole premise of Jack of all trades, also like of the name, you know, of being able to like really play within different like not qualities, but different sub genres, or like, I mean, even like waving could be waving is a genre on its own. Like you could be a great waver and not pop.
I mean, like Callie and Alex.
Yeah,
they're not necessarily poppers. They can pop, but like they're wavers by
exactly
Radar.
where it's like, yeah, you could just like wave forever without popping. So it's like, these styles can be like separated or integrated as much as possible. But yes, it's like, I think, I don't know, I can argue with both that it's like you should kind of have yes, you should in a way have one round of like in each different styles, but also if you're really into one thing, like, and you're just tuts and lines.
But I think that's different a little bit.
Yeah, but it's just like you might be amazing at one thing and make it through, and then it highlights other things that you don't.
Yeah, but I'm almost talking about the opposite. I'm not talking about specialists because that's another thing, and I kind of almost get that more. Like,
like that you would get like specialists entering jack of all trades more than like people who.
Well, no. So this is what I was gonna say. Like, there was a guy I was telling you about, Ignite, who his top 16 round was undulation and ramen effects.
Yeah,
and he
killed that.
Oh my god, he tore the roof off. I thought, like, all right, I'm a big MT Pop fan, and the way the brackets were is that he had MT Pop in the top 8 if he won. And like, after seeing Ignite do the first round, I was like, oh, he might beat MT Pop. I was like, if he dances like this in the next round, and if he's that good at the other concepts, like, MT's gonna need to. I said it on the stream. I was like, he's gonna need to pull something out of his ass to like beat this guy, because holy shit, like, it was really good. But then it's like, when he did, not that he wasn't good at the other concepts, he was still good, but MT like took him out, because it was like tuts and lines and I don't know what the
maybe
other one.
bottom
Could be,
or grooves.
I think it was grooves and whatever the other thing is, grooves and something. But like, MT like pretty comfortably beat him, I think. But it's like he's that's what we realized. It's like, oh, he's more of a specialist. Like, he's just fantastic at the wavy undulation movements and the ramen effects.
Yeah.
I mean, if he had got MT in that first round, that would have been crazy. Like, because they're both good at those things. But just how it happened as he came to the next round, it was a bit easier, because he I think maybe he found those ones are slightly harder.
Yeah.
But all that to say is, like, he's a specialist, right? And I actually like that. I'm like, it's fine that you lose in the next round, because you gave such an amazing performance of something that you wouldn't have maybe had the chance to show if it wasn't for JOAT. But what I'm more talking about is, I think because of battles and the way that like people have been judging them and stuff, there's this like, which I think is a skill in itself, is to package I think people like Omni are really good at it, Kane is really good at it, where it's like them in a cypher versus them in a battle, it's like you see a big difference, because they know how to package their round. Like, and this is something that, even if you're a fantastic dancer, if you haven't battled for a while, you lose your packaging, let's say. So it's like, you could have someone who's on paper better than Omni and Kane, but when it comes to a battle, they're going to smoke them, because it's like they're so in practice, they're so used to packaging their rounds. They're like, I say this all the time when I'm teaching about like good battle dancers. If I played a song and I said, tell me when a minute is up, they would know almost by like memory, like, yeah, it's probably about now, and be like 10 seconds either way, because they're so used to packaging their round within a minute. They can listen and go, yeah, I'd stop my round here, and it's probably like, all right, that's 58 seconds. You know? I've done that work. I've done that exercise in class. I've been like, right, sit down when you think it's a minute. And like, the people that are more practiced in battling, like, kind of get it. So all that to say is that when people are packaged, which is a good thing, they're also used to putting a little bit of everything in their rounds, like a little bit of this, a little bit of this, a little bit of this, so that you see what you need to see or whatever. And then those dancers who are battle packaged go to JOAT, and it's like, oh, but now you can't unpackage your stuff.
Yeah.
And I think this is something I was talking about with Lewis, because like we danced together when he was young, but we're slightly different generations. But it's like, the way we used to always train was, I think I'm probably, he's a way higher success rate, but I'm probably similar generation to Andy, maybe. Like, I think he started a bit before me. Maybe he's a few years older than me.
Yeah.
But like, I think the way we used to train would be like doing whole rounds of waving, whole rounds of tuts, whole rounds of lines, whole rounds of footwork, just because it's like, we had less battles, first of all, so we had less reason to like package our stuff as tightly. But also, it was like, that was more what was fun, is like playing around. Like, I love waving, so how much waving can you do, and how, you know, like, also maybe it was like a crew thing or who we were inspired by, but that's how I came up training. So for me, it was always a thing of like, and I mean, actually, like, I told this story a few times, and it's like, because it's one of the few wins I had, but like, I won a 7 to smoke at Jam Festival or Light Fest, one of Kieran's events. But the only reason I won it was because of this, I think. Like, I beat some decent people, I think, to win the 7, and I beat like 7 in a row. This was like 4 years ago. But I won it because in my head I was like, right, I know how to do a 7 to smoke. I don't know if I'm going to win or be good enough, but it was like every round I'm going to do something different. So I did like just footwork. Then the next round I did only waving. And it's like I never repeated in 7 rounds because I don't have much more than 7 rounds, but I've got like 7 rounds worth of different shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think a lot of dancers don't train like that. And it's just lucky that my mentality from when I was training more happened to work in that situation. But it's like, yeah, I think like there's a lot of dancers that can't separate. So it's like you ask them to do a round of waving on JOAT and they're like, and they start doing boogaloo or hits. And it's like, you know, hopefully, I think one thing that a lot of dancers can do is the hard hits and dime stops. Like that's kind of a staple of of popping, I think. Just being able to do a round. I mean, that's one I think you should be able to do. It's just, it's like, it's not quite the equivalent, but it's almost the equivalent of the bounce and rock category in hip hop. It's like the thing that you should be able to like take out all the tricks, take out all the moves. You should just be able to straight up hit on the 2, 4, 6, and 8 for an entire round. You should be able to bounce and rock for an entire round and be able to move with that.
But I think it's like and not necessarily just about the popping, but I think that was highlighted in other in other styles as well. Like I mean, of course, like Phil Wizard is amazing, but I feel like there was like some rounds where you were like, oh, okay, like, you know, and even he said it in the interview that you guys had on the live stream, that he was like, oh, this was really challenging for me. Like, this is not how I usually train. So it was like a good, you know, kind of, it was really difficult and all of that. And, you know, I mean, he's still amazing. Yeah. But I think it was like, there's some rounds that you could see like, oh yeah, that's not how he structures his stuff. Like, that's not how he goes about it. So I think that, like, I do agree that against Mass, like, I think that Mass won that.
I think even Phil agreed.
That round. But yeah, so I think it's like, in some cases, like, you know, I think coming in, like, in hip hop, for example, we knew like Majid is really strong, so it wasn't like surprising to see him win.
I mean, he surprised me. I didn't think he'd be so good at the concepts as he was.
Yeah, but I think there's also sometimes like some people that you like feel that would be kind of like not the obvious winner, but
I mean, we did a bet with ATN and Lewis.
Yeah.
Before we were like, who are your 3 winners? Yeah. Actually, they still owe me money. But it's like, pick your 3 winners, and like whoever gets their 3 winners will give each other like $10 or whatever. And I think mine were MT, Majid and Phil. Yeah. And Majid's the only one that won. But they chose, like, I think MT, they thought Roshka was going to win hip hop and Phil. But like, we said, like, Lewis said this before we got there. And he was like, on the guest lineup, arguably, they have the best hip hop dancer on the planet, the best breaker on the planet, and the best popper on the planet. Like MT, Majid, and Phil Wizard. Yeah, it's like, out of those 3, who is better than them in those styles? Like, you could argue some, but you would maybe, like, I don't think anyone can disagree that those 3 are in the conversation for the best on the planet in their style.
Yeah, and even like, I mean, if you're not necessarily like talking just like I think best on the planet is like in the context of battles, like kind of in the circuit of battles. I think the 3 of them are like,
that's the only way to determine that. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean,
of course, people can say who they enjoy more in an artistic way, but battle winners.
But yeah, I think that Roshka was amazing. I think he was like my favorite, my highlight of the hip hop. I don't know if I've ever actually. I must have spoken to him once, but I love you so much. You're amazing. That round of Blitz with him in Jungle.
That was really good.
Was like, I think it was the highlight of the whole like live stream.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, that was my favorite.
I'm always curious to see like what translates to the live stream. You know what I mean? Like if it's as hype as it is in the room. But that you like that? But what is it you liked about that part?
I think that it was really like, that felt like, I mean, it felt hype, but it was also like, I mean, they're both like high level, but I feel like that was really like really, really answering each other. and
Yeah,
I
I
think
have something to say on that in a minute.
that was like the whole idea of the concept for people that don't know, that round is called blitz. So it's basically like the dancers go, but they do 2 counts of 8, like one after the other, back and forth for like 2 minutes, I think.
Nice.
No,
So, 1 minute
or 1 minute. Yeah.
I think it might be 2 minutes, but it's like I go 1, 2, 3, and the whole audience counts like 5, 6, 7, 8.
That's
switch.
really fun part about it. Like, yeah, because like they, yeah, it's 2 counts of 8. So yeah. The whole audience gets involved.
Yeah, and it's like 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
So it's like, and then they go back and forth.
Yeah.
So, and I felt like it was and the way that they did it together, it was really like Jungle did something, and then Rushka really kind of like used what he did and like replied to it, and then Jungle would like take what he did and reply to it. So, and the whole point is to have like a conversation between the dancers and for it to really be an exchange. And I feel like this is what it's meant to be, or even like for me, it kind of, yes, it's a battle, but it's also like a cipher or a battle that it's meant to be like
an exchange.
Yeah, and like
the last thing.
Yeah, like that the energy really goes up, and the like performance also like ramps up. So I feel like that was really kind of the like you could really see that. And also the round they were like getting athletic with it and like pulling out like, you know, kind of acro, but like keeping it dance. And yeah, I think like, I mean, yeah, Rushka like killed that.
Yeah, I think the blitz thing is like the most battle that you'll see.
Yeah.
Because I think what's happened, and like a lot of people have said this, I'm not the first person to say this, but it's like battles have just become 2 people showcasing, and it's like, okay, pick the best one. And it's like the essence of what it is like supposedly like responding to each other, you know, like you do something, I do something, you do something, I do something. And I don't see that. Sometimes you see that, you know, like there's the somewhat famous battle with Alex, Cage and Feist. And if you watch that, have you seen that battle?
No.
It's Nikhil Udat put on. It's what he did before Beyond the Moves. It was called something else, which I forget. And he did exhibition battles, and they were all 8 rounds each. It'll be on YouTube if you type in like Alex Cage versus Feist somewhere. And they did a battle, and like they did a really like they really responded to each other. So it was like you know, Feist did something where he had his hands in the pocket and did the whole round. So Alex put his hand in his pocket and did the whole round, or vice versa, you know. And like each round they kind of like did a call and response thing, and everyone was like, "Whoa, this is so cool," because they're going back and forth, you know. But like Blitz is the only time where I see that nowadays, really, where it's like really even outside of Rushka and Jungle, it's like every time you do the Blitz, every time I've seen it, it's really like, because it's the most natural thing. You've only done 2 8s, so I'm going to take what you did and respond to it and like bring that energy back. So yeah, I think the Blitz is sick. It's one of my favorite parts. Like I think there was one of them that they didn't do it for the tiebreak, and I thought they should have. But yeah, anyway.
And I love the twist also that like Majid chose.
Oh my God. I mean, it's worth saying, people at home, I had a few drinks. If you are going to watch the live stream, I had a few drinks. But I was so like, we were like, and it's also like when you're in the room and everybody else is like excited and gassed. Also, now that you like, I think if you go and watch the live stream now, knowing what happened, you might not find it so shocking. But at the time we were like, oh my God, it was like as if like, you know, the apocalypse was just going to happen or something. But basically, yeah, so to explain for people that don't know, it was the final. So in the finals of JOAT in all 3 categories, because they've had the concepts, now you have each dancer gets to choose a concept. And then I like you being here because it's like I'm talking to you.
Nice.
Usually you're on the side or something. Anyway.
In another room.
We're just opposite each other. And you guys are here too. So each dancer gets to choose their own concept. And not one from... This has been a misunderstanding that I think the hosts need to make a little bit more clear. Like you don't have to choose one from the like you can make up your own one.
Yeah.
That's a big difference. Like choose a concept. It's like make up your own concept. And then the third round is just freestyle. So Majid was like, oh no, because Rushka said floor work. And Majid was like, oh, fuck. Like, he did that like, oh. And then he goes, okay, so I can choose any rule. And they were like, yeah, any rule. And he was like, okay, so can I have somebody else dance for me? And they were like, and then the whole room was like, what is it? It's never been done before. So then they were like, I don't know. So then they called Haya, the organizer. They were like, okay, let's ask him. And they were like whispering in the, what should we do? And then so he was like, okay, wait, turn the house lights on. And he was like, we're gonna ask the audience, what do you think? Should we allow it? So thumbs up if you think yes, no. And like almost everybody was like this. I didn't realize that we were so well lit, by the way. Like if you watch the stance footage, you see us at the live stream because we had a light on us. And so you really see us in the crowd. I didn't realize. So I always do this, like when I'm in the crowd, I'm like responding to the dancers or doing something or like making eye contact. And usually I just assume they can't see me, but I'm just doing it, you know. But this, I was like, oh yeah, everything I was doing, that people could like clearly see me. So yeah, I was like, yeah. So they were like, all right, fuck it, let's do it. So, and they were like, okay, so who are you going to call? And he like points in the crowd and Phil Wizard is there. And everyone's like, starts screaming, ah. And like when he's choosing, and I'm saying it on the live stream, I'm like, but then Roshka has to choose one too, because it's the rules. It's the same rule for both. So then he goes, so Preach, the host, goes like, okay, but remember, like it's the same rule for both. So you choose Full Wizard, Roshka, who are you going to choose? And everyone's like screaming. So Roshka like goes off the stage and everyone's like, and then and then he comes back on stage and then it's like you just see like a commotion from where we were and it's like who is it? And there's just like all people around and then just like MT Pop's face just like comes up and everyone starts screaming like, oh my god. So then it was like, okay, Roshka, because I think actually, so here's what I think actually happened. What Majid meant at first
was that Phil was gonna do the floor.
That's what he wanted. He was like, if I can choose anyone to, can Phil, and that's what he was trying to say. He's like, can Phil do the floor work round? Yeah. And then it did, like, it kind of like he just let it or whatever because it didn't quite.
I mean, that would have made sense, but
it's not how the
smart.
But
it's not how the concept works. Yeah. So. But it was like a nice moment.
Yeah. So then it's like fun. MT Pop versus Full Wizard was in the second round. So it was like first round was floor work and Majid had to do it. I have to say he killed the floor work round. Like he did. He was so good. I didn't expect, especially after he did
he got up a few times.
Yeah, but it's like other people, like when J-Style did it, he didn't stay on, like he kind of came up to go down again. But like Majid only came up to like reset and go back down. So I was like, all right, I would allow that. Because a lot of people in the Tuts and Lines round, they would like come out of Tuts and Line before resetting and going. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I allow it if I was judging. He did really well. I mean, Roshka's also really good at that, but I thought Majid killed it. And then I'm also a Majid fanboy, admit. Yeah. Oh no, I'm actually not. I'm actually you are. Put it this way: I'm not a fanboy in the same way that I'm a fanboy of like MT Pop, in the sense of like I love his dance. Like I would want to dance like MT Pop. Like I like everything he does. Like that's my marker for like style versus objectivity. I'm like, do I want to dance like them or do I like I don't want to dance like Diablo, but I think he's amazing. Yeah. Jean-Michel, sorry. But you know what I mean? It's like, is a difference between wanting to dance like them and identifying with the style versus just objectively being like, you're so good at what you do. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm just like, as a commentator on the scene, I think Majid is like unreal in terms of like quality of movement, how different he looks, how much he's won and how long he's been winning for. Yeah. Like, I just think he's amazing in that sense. But he's not like, there's other hip hop dancers that I would prefer to dance like, or who I like their style more. Like, I for example, like Dead Homies and Prada, I think Majid's taken them out at this point in their career. But I also think I would prefer to dance like them than Majid. You know what I mean? So I think it's like, that's where I mean, like, I'm a fanboy in the sense of just looking at the scene. I'm like, who's beating him? Like, I would love to see just like, you know, they do it in like football. I think they did that. I think they did it years ago where it's like Manchester United versus the world type of thing, where it's just like, because they won so much stuff, like they put together like an all-star team or whatever and have a match. Like I would love to see like a Seven to Smoke where it's just like Majid versus like do an all-star lineup
versus
like,
the world.
Yeah, like the 7 best dancers you can find on the planet, and like
Majid versus the world, isn't that what the past 10 years has been anyways?
But that's what I'm saying. It's like do an all-star lineup. Anyway. Yeah. Why was I going to say that? Yeah, so Majid killed the first round. Phil Wizard versus MT, that was also like fun. Like Phil Wizard did it in his socks, and then MT Pop did hip hop. Yeah, that was cute. He like did pop in, and it was like no, and then he just started doing hip hop. It's like, I also rate that from MT of like, because he entered Summer Dance Hip Hop. Did you see that?
Yeah, did he? Oh, no.
He entered the prelim. He didn't get through, but like, it was decent.
I really like it.
Yeah. but he didn't get through, but he entered the prelims of Summer Dance. Then he did hip hop. But what I rate about MT is like, and even he did this exhibition battle against Concrete, which was sick. Against Concrete? No.
Yeah,
against Concrete. Which was like a side event. They had a Crump session and they had a few Crump exhibition battles, and then at the end they had MT Pop versus Concrete. And it's like the way they did it, it was like 3 rounds. The first 2, it was like, and I think MT didn't know that this was going to be the way, but like they played Crump for Concrete and they played Popping, like, so they didn't do on each other's music. So they just did Popping round, and then they changed the song, and then they did a Crump song. And then in the last round, like they played Crump, and then he kind of said to the judge, no, I want to dance on his, and everyone was like, whoa. But I think he thought that was what the vibe was going to be the whole time. So he wanted to dance on the Crump, and he actually killed it. And like the way they actually switched it where Concrete danced on Popping and he danced on Crump. But what I respect about MT is like a lot of dancers get to this position where they're like the best, or they're the most like well known, or they're having a moment, and they get very particular about their image or their videos that they do, or and they're like, oh, this round, you know what I mean? Like they're very like curating their image in a way. And what I like about MT is that he's still just having fun with the dance. Yeah. Like he's just like, I just feel like entering hip hop. So it doesn't matter that I'm MT Pop and everyone's going to talk about this or care about this or maybe criticize or whatever. He's just like, I just feel like entering hip hop. I like the music. Fuck it. Like, or this is a fun moment with Phil and Roshka and Majid. Like, I'm just going to do hip hop instead of, oh, I have to do my best round because everyone's watching. You know what I mean? And I kind of respect that, because it's like, it's very easy to feel that pressure and to be like, oh no, I'm going to do everything perfectly, you know?
Also, big shout out to the 3 hosts. Vicious, Preach, ATN the Alien.
ATN the Alien.
And my sister for building that
spaceship. Yeah. So cool.
What did I want to say? Yeah, I also I didn't watch for the Popping, I watched like the first 40 minutes, I think. I haven't. Yeah. So I didn't watch a full live stream. But I kind of like that there's 3 different hosts that give like a different, like a complete different energy. And,
like the
vibe to the
exactly
to the like
each
the
event has its own identity.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I think also, I mean, we've said that before with Joe. Also, like it is like battles, but it's a festival. So there's also like
so much going on.
There's a beat making battle. There's like art photo exhibitions.
Yeah, really nice.
There's like initiation kind of workshops happening like in public spaces.
They had the Crump session.
They had the
the kids battle.
Yeah, so it's really kind of it's grown to be really kind of a fuller.
There's like spot sessions, so there's like cypher things.
Yeah.
You know, here's my suggestion for Joe. Guys, here's my suggestion for Joe. Here's what I think they should be doing. They could partner up with Sunlux to do some sessions or whatever, or they could do it where they do the spot.
I think
sessions.
They're already partnering with Sunlux.
To run, because there wasn't any Joe events run at Sunlux that I know.
Oh right.
But what I would have, which I think would be really cool, is like to have, let's say technically the festival starts Wednesday, so you got Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday's the workshop, so you got 6. What you could do is like have different sessions like throughout the week, like training sessions or jam sessions, where the vibe of the session or the theme of the session is concepts from the battle. So like it would be sick if there was like, you know, let's say even if you do 3 in one night, you know, it's like an hour of each one. But like, let's say on the Wednesday night, you could have a Tuts and Lines jam, and then a Ram and Effects jam, and then a waving jam. So it's like you could go and just play, you know what I mean? Because it's like, I think this is the thing with Joe, like the concepts are so fun, but the only people that get to play with them are the top 16. I mean, of course you could do it in ciphers and stuff like that, but I just think it would be cool to like include them elsewhere, or even like in the showcases and stuff. Like you could have, you know, like somebody. I think what ATN did last year, I forgot to say it to him, but he kind of did it on the fly and by accident. But I actually think, and I said this to Haya last year, but just to say again, I think they should do this for all 3 styles. Throughout the battles, I think they should make it a thing where he kind of did like, because he had Bruce, Jadawi, and
he had them demonstrate.
Yeah, who was the third one? The guy from Yumin. I forget his actual name.
Asian guy.
Yeah, everyone calls him the guy from Yumin, but he's an animation guy.
Yeah.
So what ATN did as he was hosting, he was like, as the rounds went on, so that first top 16 or whatever, then this one, he would be like, okay, so the next round is gonna be Tuts and Lines. So Judawi, could you come and show us what tucks and lines look like? And then he would do his judge demo. And then it's like, oh, now we have footwork and or bottom. So it's like, Bruce, can you come up and show us what? And it's like, if you have judges that have like these specialities, like it would be so sick. Like that's their judge demo is to like introduce, and also then you get an example of what it looks like at a high level. I think they should do that in all three. You know, like the judges can pre-approve like, which concept you'll do. But if it's one from the top 16, one from the top 8, and one from the semis, like I think that works perfectly. Or you don't do it in the top 16, but you do it, you know, before the top 8, before the top 4, and then before the finals. You do one judge demo each time.
Also, and just going back to the thing you said about Saint-Luc, because Saint-Luc is like it's an organization, but they also have a space that is like dedicated to street dance, and they run like different classes and like open space and whatnot. But I might be mistaken, I might be wrong on this, but I know that in the past years, what's happened is like they shut Saint-Luc's for the weekend of JOAT because they're like, let's all go to JOAT.
Ah, okay. Well, yeah,
like,
maybe,
you know, or like they or not they shut it down, but they kind of redirect everybody to there so that people are there. But it is a good idea, maybe like even in the public space to like run sessions that are based on the themes
maybe for
of
the
battle.
spot sessions that are like in where the JOAT prelims are. They should do like Anyway, I did want to try and come up with a one to watch for both Flavourama and JOAT.
Ooh,
so
Majid.
Check out this guy called Majid. He's really got a promising future. And while you're there, check out these two young guys, MC Pop and Phil Wizard.
Really
I think
up and comers.
I think Ignite could be one.
Okay.
Ignite could be one, but I think I want to not go for people that are in the styles that I do. I've maybe got one for Flavourama, but I'm gonna say my one to watch for JOAT is this guy called Bass Boy. Have you heard of him? BASS. Is it Bass Boy or Bass Boy? They were saying Bass Boy, but that's a fish.
I'm not sure.
Anyway,
where is he from?
He's from Virginia. I spoke to him.
Yeah, I was like, I feel like he's from the States.
Yeah. You know him?
Not really. Not like that.
He is it says on his profile that he's 22, so he's quite young. I didn't realize he was that young. He killed the first round also.
Yeah.
Stance posted his that's him. Stance posted his Ram and Effects round, but I actually think his undulation round was incredible.
Right.
But he's one, again, you've said this, but like all my one to watches are people that look cool. But also what I love about him, bless you.
Thank you.
Outtakes. One thing that I love about him is like he doesn't, which is a very like, I think it's more of an American thing, but like he doesn't look like a traditional boogaloo popper, you know, and I quite like that. Like I think again, another discussion for another day, maybe behind a paywall, but it's like people see like boogaloo as like the default of popping sometimes, and it's like that's how everything, like throw on your hush puppies and your ironed trousers, and this is like the way to do popping. And I think people from the States particularly have a bit more understanding of like all the different types of where you know, places where popping developed and all the different styles that influenced it. And I think what he does is like he looks cool while he dances, and he looks different, you know, so like he doesn't have the same type of like
approach,
but also like I don't want to say mannerisms, but like I feel like sometimes when I watch like European popping and like definitely like let's say like Japanese, Korean, Chinese also popping, it's like similar mannerisms, which I get, like culturally you develop certain things, like we have that in hip hop in Europe, they have that in every style, but I think in some places it's a lot more apparent with popping, and it's like he does it, he hits in different shapes, he moves in different ways, his footwork looks different, like you know what I mean, and it is fresh, and he's young, so he has a lot of time to develop. But I think seeing him with the undulation round specifically, I was like, holy shit, like he look, and he's a really good performer. Like he really like blew up the stage, and like it really like radiated like his energy, you know what I mean, in the sense of like he really like nailed it on a big stage. So he was just really dope. I think everyone should check him out. His Instagram is _ BASSBOY _ Bass Boy or Bass Boy. I want to say bass, like bass in the music, I don't know, or maybe there's another reason where it should be bass. But yeah, really sick, really nice guy as well. He was a battle guest.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Sick. I'm not sure how much longer the live stream is going to be available.
I think it's
for.
gone already.
It's gone.
Yeah.
But yeah, big shout out to the family. Streammachine.co. Make sure you check it out if ever you want to live stream your event. Yeah, I think I really enjoy. I mean, okay, maybe the live stream conversation is going to be for another podcast because that one could get long as well. But I really enjoyed watching, and like I'm biased because it's like my sister was running it, you were hosting, my brother was hosting.
Yeah.
Like
family affair.
Haya, who is the organizer, is like an honorary family member at this point.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, I think I have a bias because it's all people that I love. But I did, even for Summer Dance, you know, that I watch all the live streams on catch up and this one as well. I actually enjoyed the live stream more than like just watching clips.
Of course.
Yeah.
I think for me, this is going to be the future is like, I mean, I'm talking more on a media production level, like when I'm talking to events, is like, I don't think there's any point anymore in filming the battles for YouTube. I think you live stream the entire event and you film reels, you film clips in portrait. I think this is going to be the new standard.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you want to watch it and you can just put timestamps. So if you want to watch the hip hop vinyl, you just click the timestamp. It's the same as finding it on YouTube.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, I think, and then you concentrate all the views in one video.
Yeah.
So the views look higher and get bigger.
But I feel like this is a hot topic. So maybe we'll like save it. You know, we can really get into the like live stream conversation on another episode.
Yeah.
Because now.
I have one more question before we move on. So this is my question for people at home, actually.
Oh.
You don't have to necessarily give me an answer. I'm not necessarily going to give my thoughts.
But follow, like, and subscribe and answer in the comments.
So here's my question for the people at home. Do you think that a concept battle is more or less a determiner of who's the best in the world at a style? Because this is a conversation I was having with Lumi from Sons of Wind. And it's whether, for example, I think like you have Fusion Concept, you have JOAT, you have a few others that are concept battles, right? Whether even Summer Dance this year, it's like a 2-on-2 with someone gets brought back and this and that. JOAT is like you have to do all these concepts. And back in the day, we used to kind of, you know, like, I don't know, 2010 or so, there was kind of a run of like, let's say with popping, it's like if you won like UK Champs, SDK, what else? Like Just a Boo, even like Summer Dance. Like if you won all of these ones, it's like, okay, you're pretty much in that conversation of like being the best because you've won all the battles. But if it's a concept battle, I'm like, I personally feel like, I don't want to say culturally as in like hip hop culture, but like within the battle community, we maybe look at those concept battles as less of a determiner of someone being the best in the world. Because it's easy to be like, oh, yeah, I lost in the finals at JOAT, but if this was a normal one-on-one hip-hop battle, I would have smoked that person. Or you know what I mean? Or if this was not a concept, or if this, you know what I mean? Like if you lose at, I mean, it happens with All-Stars battles. You lose to someone in an All-Stars battle and you're like, yeah, but if this was hip-hop battle, I would have, and we weren't dancing on dance hall, like I would have smoked you. So I think my question is like, do we consider just straight up style based battles like a 1v1 hip hop or a 1v1 popping or a 1v1 house? Do we consider that like if you win that, we consider, that's probably the best person in the world? And whereas if they win a concept battle, we don't consider it as you're one of the best in the world. Like I'm just curious to see what people think of that.
Let us know in the comments.
But yeah, so then I mean, shout out to Joe. I love this event. I don't usually share conversations that I have in private without permission, but this is a compliment, so I'm going to share it, and I think he'll be fine with it. I was talking to Lumi about JOAT, Lumi Sons of Wind, winner of Flavourama. He said, and I think this is a huge compliment for the team, he said if like it being Canada and being a bit further away is like the only thing that's stopping the European dance scene from thinking JOAT is like the best event in the world. Like he said, if JOAT was in France, people would be like unquestionably the best event. Or like if you win, you're the best. Like, you know what I mean? So he was saying like, and he said it's really like gaining more and more. Like people are like, oh, Joe, like in the last few years, because especially they've had more European people. Frankie D was there, Majid, like all these people. So he was really like, oh yeah, like Joe is the shit. It's just because it's a long flight away. It's like harder.
Yeah.
But I think that's a huge compliment.
Yeah. Also, if it was in France, it wouldn't be the best in the world because the crowd wouldn't be there.
That's true.
The crowd would be French, and it wouldn't be the same.
The Montreal crowd is fire. That is something you've got to say.
Yeah,
they were great.
Yeah.
So yeah, I came back from JOAT for less than 24 hours and then flew to Flavourama.
Yeah.
This is where I'm getting annoyed because I don't have anything bad to say about either event, really. I could say things that I would maybe improve, but there's not that many things across both.
Okay, so what was your highlight
annoyingly, yeah, they were both fantastic. I mean, Flavourama is also a festival. I said this a few years ago that I think like the festival format is the way forward. I don't think anyone's 100%. Leaving the country traveling for like we used to like travel for a whole weekend just for one prelim and one battle event, like IBE, Summer Dance, Joe, Flavourama. I think the festival
Jams
format,
and Jams,
like they're all the good stuff now is like festival stuff. Even even BC1 and Dance Your Style are becoming camps. Like they're having week-long things, you know.
Yeah.
So I think people are realizing like if you're going to get people out of their house, especially with so much choice, it used to be that there's like not that many good events and they're only in France. So if you want to go to a good event, you have to go to France. Now it's like I could battle every weekend for the whole year in the UK. I don't need you. If you want to tempt me out of the country, it's got to be something, you know. So yeah, Flavourama had some really cool events. I mean, one of the main reasons we were there actually was because we had a conversation with them about their panel talk evening, which is called Voices. So it's usually just a kind of normal panel talk. I think it's been lovely in the past, but I kind of said like, hey, I've got an idea. Are you interested? And it was to like turn the panel to do like a takeover, turn the panel talk evening into like an interactive evening. And it's like basically what we did was like we created these like, well, we didn't create, we stole them from Jubilee. But there's these like games that we did, which is like agree, disagree. So I say a statement and you go one side or the other, depending on how strongly or not strongly you agree. I actually did that game at an Artist for Artists workshop. Yeah. You were there like years before I even saw it on Jubilee. And I think it works well if you say controversial stuff. I didn't go too controversial because it's my first time at Flavourama, but next year.
Strap.
I was like, shall I start off with some really controversial ones? I was like, nah, I'll wait till they trust me and then I'll come back and... No, I'm joking, guys. But that went really well. We did a judges ranking game. So we had the 5 judges.
Yep.
And they all did a round each. And we told them they had to rank themselves from best to worst. And we did it by like taking turns. It's like, okay, Jenny goes first. You have to move one person. That can be yourself or it can be one of the other judges, but you have to move them up or down the line depending on what you think. And then we did that once. And then the second time you have to move people again, but now explain why you're moving the person that you're moving. And then we had the audience kind of comment on the lineup and who they would have where and stuff like that. And then we did an open floor discussion, which is just like us just throwing the mic around and who wants to say anything and let's just chat, which was really cool. We're doing a full length video of it. I say we, I mean Sophia. Yep. Is doing a full length video of it. So you can watch everything and see. So many people like replied to my stories being like, is it going to be on YouTube? I was like, yeah, it's
exciting.
So that was really cool. Shout out to Flavourama for trusting us. Also, first time I've ever worked with them. First time they've worked with me. Obviously, we have the podcast and stuff, but they've never worked with me before, and they trusted me with their whole Voices panel talk evening. So I'm really appreciative that they gave me their trust. Hopefully, we came through and did a good job. Everyone seemed to like it in the room. So happy days. No one argued. No one cried. That's what the main thing is. And then they have like a performatory thing, which is basically like a performance evening in the museum. Gallery, So they're kind of responding to different exhibits. They had some theatre workshops. They had, what else did they have? They had
Next Gen Battle.
The Next Gen Battle, which is like the young kids, which is also great. I think they did kids and teens, which was great. Then they had, what else do we have? They had they had obviously the judges workshops. They had the main finals. They had a music brunch on the Sunday morning, which was lovely.
Yeah, after parties until
like 4 a.m. or whatever it was. The city of Salzburg is really nice as well. Really cute little city. I just think overall it was a great event. Like, I mean, the DJs absolutely fucking killed it on the Saturday. Like Joseph Wu and Koflo.
Yeah.
Joseph Wu has been one of my favorite DJs for a long time. Like I was saying to Sophia, he DJ'd the first international battle I ever won. This is something I've got to say about both events. Shashu and Rock Swift did the popping, and Joseph Wu, Koflo, also Ridley did the hip hop and Stretch. And here is one thing I will say about both events, about the DJs. DJs, hi, this is for you. Are you a DJ? Are you a wannabe DJ? I'm talking to you. Stop saving your best shit for the battles and playing trash in the prelims. Thank you very much. I love you, but goodbye. Because here is why.
Did they play trash in the prelims?
No, but because they didn't, it made me realize a lot of DJs do.
Right.
Okay.
I was like, holy shit, they're playing good songs in the prelims. For fuck's sake, like, why are we not doing this everywhere else?
Yeah.
Like, and it happens so many times. And I get it, not every DJ has a wealth of music, but you have a job to do. So fucking get your shit together. Like,
Exactly.
so this is, and it's like, this is my thing. This is a whole other topic again, about, we should have like our paywall, our Patreon podcast should be like all the tangents. We just note it down and do them there.
Yeah.
But it's like, first of all, the prelims are the majority of dancers that enter an event. You have 300 people that enter Summer Dance, for example, and then you have a top 12, or a top 24. The majority of people are 300, not the 12 or 24. So if you don't, that's the first thing, is like, give them the best experience possible. I think I've said this about Summer Dance. I don't like the fact that they have two people dancing at the same time.
Yeah.
I don't like prelims that only give like 30 or 45 seconds. Like, give them the fucking full minute. Especially if you're giving your battlers a minute rounds and then you're giving your prelims 45 seconds. No, like, I know it's long and I know it's hard to organize, but the prelim people are contributing the most amount to your event. They're the most numbers. That's the most ticket income is from them. And then second to them, it's prelims and audience should be prioritized. Then, yes, the top 24 dancers should be prioritized, but yeah, they're battlers. Like, this is they're all going to potentially get something out of it, you know? Anyway, the first thing is just to give them a good experience in the prelims and just for them to, like, you know, enjoy it or whatever. But the second thing is, like, the prelims get to this point in all styles where the skill of winning, of getting through a prelim is who can deal with a shit song the best. And of course, your experienced battlers can do that, and then they get through prelims because it's like you were able to do a good round even though the song wasn't great. But that shouldn't be the case. If you play the good songs for the prelims, you give everyone their best shot of dancing their best. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I think a lot of DJs are saving all their good shit for the battlers, and it's like, well, they're the best in the room anyway, so that's when you can afford to take risks or do different stuff. It's like in the prelims, like, give people their best chance of getting through by giving them bangers all the way through. And like that's what, especially I have to say, like Shashu and Rock Swift were doing in the popping prelims. Like every song was a banger for 3 hours straight. That's not easy to do, you know. And then the
and the battles themselves
were fire. And then it's like Joseph Wu and Koflo, like all the way through like especially Koflo in the house.
Yeah,
I was like, holy shit, so good. Yeah, killed it. Like, so the prelim, and also this is the third thing. The prelims are so long. It's 3 hours every time you do a prelim these days in every event, unless it's a tiny event. So for 3 hours, I don't want to listen to shit music.
Yeah, but
like Koflo for the however long it was of house prelims at Flavourama, the room was a vibe. Like, everyone was enjoying to be at prelims, and I never see that. You know what I mean? It's just like everyone's sitting there, like staring at a wall, like sleeping on the floor. Koflo's like everyone was up dancing the whole prelims. Not like, and even if they weren't watching the prelims, it's like the vibe in the room is good because the music is good.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Also, it's like, I think especially with large events where there's like 100 people entering, or even if it's a bit under 100, if it's like, you know, an hour, 2 hours of prelims, it's kind of like the likeliness of somebody sitting and watching the full prelims is unlikely. But then you also don't want people to leave the room. So you want people to be in the room, somewhat watch, but also people are going to take breaks from watching. So if you want the energy to keep on being lifted and for the room to be vibey, then the only thing that can do that is like really good music that makes people want to dance around and like stay and catch the vibe.
Yeah.
So
I felt like this about, like, not last year the venue was a bit packed, but like at Battle Bad, when I had first gone, the prelim day was sick because it's like you have the prelims going on, there's good music, but also it's like everybody's ciphering.
Yeah.
And it's like the whole way, and it's like people, I'm sure there's people there that didn't even enter prelims, they just came to cipher.
Yeah.
And it's like that's the vibe you want at prelims. It's like just hardcore, and it's different vibe because there it's like hardcore, like it's war, you know. But it was sick. Like the first time I went, I was like, this is sick.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall Flavourama was great. Here's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say my initial thought when I was at the event is I was gonna say that because the organisation are like all female.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that you feel the female touch on the event. However, I'm not gonna say that, and here's why. Because I actually think it's a bit, in a way, like sexist still to say that I felt the female touch, because here's why. Sophia's giving me a face for people on who can't see her. Here's why. If they did a bad job, it wouldn't be because they're women. So if they do a good job, it's not because they're women. It's because they're good organisers, regardless.
Yeah.
Do you know? And I don't want to put it down to, because of your gender, you're good at organising events. No, because that takes away from them being good. Regardless if they were men or women, I would say they are fantastic event organisers.
Yeah.
And I think this is the thing. You have to give it the negative. Like if you say because they're women, they're good, it also means if they were bad, it would be because they're women.
Yeah.
It's the same, but it's the same coin.
If that's the measure.
If that's the reasoning of what they did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't want to say that, although I think what you can say is like based on the female experience, especially in the dance scene, maybe you're more attuned to certain things because of the experiences you've gone through.
Yeah.
So that you can say, right? Like there was a few things that I was really impressed by. The first thing that struck me was like in the email that you get when you're confirmed to be a part of the event and when you arrive at your hotel, printed out is a code of conduct.
And printed out everywhere, like even at the workshop.
In the toilet, on the back of the toilet door.
Yeah.
Is the code of conduct. And I think that is really good because these are the little things, and this is why I wanted to talk about it. I put it on my Insta story. It's like these are the things that nobody on the outside knows about. It doesn't contribute to the like it doesn't sell more tickets.
Yeah.
But it makes a big difference for everyone because it's like I think there's a couple of things. First of all, it just shows that you can, like they had an email address if you feel unsafe or anything, blah blah, you can write to them. You know, it said like, and you know, it also was written very. There's nothing I disagreed with. It wasn't written, because I think sometimes when we talk about these subjects, it's this kind of like, almost like airy-fairy language that like hasn't really been thought through, you know? But this was like very like thought through. It's like, I'm trying to think of like some of the wording, but you know, everything I read, I was like, I really agree with the way this is phrased. And it was like, if you feel any type of way or if you feel unsafe, email this address, and you know, which I was like, great. Like you've given them also, because it's the other thing, it's like, it tells people like, oh, you should feel safe, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, but what if I don't? Like, you're just telling me I should feel safe. That's not helpful. But it's like, right, here's a call to action. Like, write to this email address. We'll do something about it. Great. You're providing answers to these things. But the other thing I really like is that it reminds the judges and the artists that you are employees of the festival.
Yeah.
Because I think this is another thing that we get a little bit messed up is like some of these dancers or some of these people, they get a little bit of fame or they get a little bit of notoriety. And they go to these festivals and they act, and I've seen it in multiple places, they act as if they're in charge. Sometimes I've seen judges tell the DJ what to do. I'm sorry, did you pay the DJ?
Yeah.
Like, no, the organizer, you tell the organizer if you have a problem with the DJ. Or the DJ, you know, if there's a way to be done, you speak to the organizer's in charge. And I think also there's a thing where the organizer doesn't take charge. So someone has to, so then the judge steps up and does it. It's two sides of the coin. But I think what I liked is like, it reminded everyone, we are in charge, gently, you know, you have to behave like an employee, you have to do certain things and adhere to this code if you would like to work for us, which I think is how it should be. It's like, you can't come to these things and just do whatever the hell you want, speak to people however the hell you want, make people feel uncomfortable, you know what I mean? Like, and do all these things because you think you run the fucking world. And I think this was like a really nice, gentle way to remind people like, yo, you're employed by us. If you want to not get fired or be asked back, behave. Which I think is like, damn right.
Yeah.
100.
Anyway, so that was just something I wanted to shout about because I was like, this is great. And I think it should be a standard of event organization, you know? And it's also stuff like, you know, there's stuff that we don't put, and I think it's happening more and more, but we don't put into these codes of conduct or these like ways of working, which is like, you know, you have to be places at certain times or whatever. Judges, like if whatever your policy is on tiebreakers or something, like put it into the thing. Like you have to, we do it when we did the Nike battle, when we did our capsule battle. It's like you have to, I say this to the judges and it's written in their thing. Is like you have to vote at the same time as everyone else. Don't wait for them to vote. You get, we said you get one tiebreaker for the entire battle. That's my compromise. I don't think we should be tying every round, but I also don't think we need to eradicate them. I think it's fun sometimes to have one moment where you tie. We give them a criteria and that's written. And it's like all these things can be like written in. You don't have to just bow down to the judges or the DJs or whatever. You can tell them what you want them to play, how you want them to judge, how you want the person to host.
Yeah. I think it's like, you know, although what you said in the beginning is like, these things are not the things that like sell tickets, but I think that they kind of are.
Oh, go on.
Because it's like the invisible hand that like makes things the way that they are. I think like the way that things feel, the way that things flow, like I'm sorry, but like it's not natural. Like somebody thought about it. Somebody conceived it that way. Somebody thought about what it was going to be like to walk in that room and how they wanted people to feel and how they wanted the evening to like flow and flow and go from one thing to the next and how everybody's experience is going to be. So it's like it doesn't impact as much as it's like, okay, this is the judge, so you see the flyer and you see the person and this is why you're going. So in that way, no, but it does sell tickets because it builds a reputation of the event and then it gets people talking about the experience that they had and how amazing it was. And so this is the thing that makes people come back, and it's also the thing that makes people talk about their experience. And I think that this is a role of like event producers or like organizers or whatnot, is to like think about all these things and to like curate and like engineer an experience that when you're there it does feel natural and it does feel effortless. And if it does, then it's because there's some people that did their jobs right and they did their jobs well. And I think, you know, often the devil is in the details,
It's true.
of like all these little things that like, you know, might not be seen as like important, or you know, because they're not
flashy and
they're not front facing. It's like, or you know, you have so much to deal with that feels like another thing. But I think in the end it's like the accumulation of all these little things like make it something that feels really special. So so I mean, I've never been to the Flavourama. I've never met the team.
It's Olivia and Farah are the artistic directors, and then I think Olivia, Farah, and Eleanor are the managing directors.
Yeah, but I've only ever heard amazing things about it. Like I've never heard somebody go to Flavourama or come back and say like
whack.
Yeah, I don't know about this year or blah, blah, blah. It seems like everybody who goes has a good time. Like whether it's spectators or
even the team. Like honestly, like as someone that worked for the event, like I just felt like, I don't feel like I've had this experience with any other event. Like it just felt like super welcoming. We always felt like heard, you know, we were open to contribute. Like there was like a whole thing where like you feel like you're taken care of, you know?
Yeah.
Space for everyone.
One thing I have to shout out, right, is Flavourama's been running for 17 years.
Oh, wow.
That's great.
That is insane in a small town like Salzburg. Like, it's not a small town, but you know what I mean? It's not Paris or London. You know what I mean? So
Small
first
city.
of all, that's amazing. Like 17 years is crazy. They started the first edition when they were 18.
Yeah.
So imagine like, and this is the I think there's a nuance in here, because it's like, first of all, it's amazing that they started an event when they were 18.
Yeah.
It's also amazing that Flavourama's been going 17 years. Imagine committing to something when you were 18 and committing to something and doing such a good job of it that it lasted for 17 years. Like, I started dancing when I was 17, you know what I mean? And I've like gone in and out of different styles or been like, you know what I mean? Like they've stayed on the same concept, the same thing, same name that they chose when they were 18. And also it's like, one of the photographers said this to me and I was like, that's a really good point. It's like, just imagine just think of like two 18-year-old girls in your head right now, like their life experience, how they are. Just picture two 18-year-old girls that you've seen or taught or something like that. Imagine them going to like the mayor of Salzburg and being like, can we have some money to run a dance festival?
Yeah.
Not only getting it, but then doing that same thing every single year for 17 years. Like, that's crazy shit.
Yeah. And also, I mean, huge shout out to them for like, you know, building something really special. And I think from the sounds of it, like really kind of taking and evolving with everything that they learn over the years and like slowly implementing things to make it better and better. But also just a testament to like anybody out there who, you know,
you should move to Salzburg. No, that's not the message.
No, but anybody out there who has an idea or a vision of what you want to do, then it's like, it is possible. It's really not easy. It's not like a romantic, rosy journey.
Yeah.
But like, if you look at people like Flavourama, like you said, 2 18-year-old girls that were like, oh, want to do this thing, and, you know, look at everything that they've achieved. And maybe I'm stealing your thunder, but it's also the 4th capsule anniversary. So
technically yesterday was the anniversary of the first capsule episode that we posted.
Yeah. So
on YouTube.
So, you know, that goes for Flavourama, but I think it also goes for the capsule of
happy birthday to us.
Of building, of continuing through the difficult times, of pushing through, committing to the vision, and yeah.
Next year we're gonna try to do something.
Yeah.
Celebrate the 5th.
Capsule anniversary.
I think it's gotta be first, 5th, 10th, 20th, 50th.
Sure.
No, I'll be dead by then. You'll be running that on your own.
Top lines?
What?
I said top lines.
What's top lines?
Like of things to announce before we wrap.
Oh no, I have a couple more things on Flavourama.
Oh. Sorry, I thought I was I thought I was hosting.
No, you're not. Fucking take a back seat, girl. I'm back. I'm slowly getting converted
to Islam.
To the land of house, I have to say, not to Islam. Although, I did say a while ago, if I was going to be religious, Islam would maybe be the religion. I do like a lot of what they say.
Okay.
Buddhism at first, though. I'd probably be a Buddhist. Second, I'd be...
My people.
Yeah. You're not... Anyway, just because you're fucking Chinese. All that to say is I'm slowly being converted to the land of house. I do... I mean, the music is great.
Koflo took you there.
Not only... it started... arguably with T-Joe at Just to Be UK, maybe before that. I've never not liked house. I'll say that. I've always been like, oh yeah, this is cool, but I've never been like in love with it.
Yeah,
I'm falling in love a little bit.
Yeah,
but the music.
She took you on a date and you kind of enjoyed yourself.
She's a cute little hoe. Sophia's like, you can't say
the edit.
Stuff.
Yeah,
we're not editing shit out. This is a capsule, baby. So no, but listen. First of all, it's the music. The music is, and when you hear good house music, it is like, I think, and I experienced this with back in the day from Madame Jojo's, but even with the capsule sessions that we did, like, when you play good hip hop music, there's still like whackers or like house stars might be like, oh yeah, this is cool, but when's the house? Like, when you play, funk, maybe the whackers love it, but then the poppers, or whatever. I feel like when you play house, the whole room is in love. Like, nobody's like sitting still when you play house. And it's like one of those like unifying things. I mean, maybe there's people that hate house music.
This is literally what house is about.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like, I don't know. There might be people that house isn't their favorite music, but when you hear good house, not just house music, not just any house music, when you play good house music, like Koflo was playing, I don't think anyone in there, regardless of what style you do, is like, ugh, when is the hip hop back on? You might prefer hip hop music, but you're like, oh, this is kind of a banger, low-key. You know what I mean? So I think that's my first thing, is like the music is fantastic, and it's everybody will enjoy a good house set. The second thing I will say, maybe controversial, and I was thinking this as I was watching The House, is like, I think house dance is the closest style to the essence of what dance is, right?
100.
And I say that because, and like, put it like this, I think every style of dancer would benefit from learning house as almost like a baseline. You know how like we learn ballet to then learn contemporary or whatever, like it's like the kind of baseline of like classical dance. I think house is that for street styles. I think if you learn house, there's no style that it doesn't
translate, apply.
Oh yeah, it doesn't improve that dancer, if that makes sense. I'm saying that in a weird way. Like, no matter what style you do, house will help you be better at your style. The reason I say that is because I think if you think house is about footwork, and I'm not saying this with any real knowledge or having had this conversation before. So please comment and let me know if you disagree.
Follow, like, and subscribe.
If you think house is about footwork, I think you're missing the point, because I think house is about rhythm. And this is something that should be in every style, but a lot of times isn't, because my analysis is this. The way house music is it's like the kick is very repetitive and it's the driver of the beat. It's doof, 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 doof in every house song, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think the way the style has developed is that it's impossible to beat kill. Like, you can't, like the battle style or the way of dancing house has never been chasing the musicality of the song, because sometimes it's just doof, doof, and some atmospheric like synths for like 17 minutes, right?
Yeah.
And then now and then there's a guy going, we all come together in this house, one and all unified to become house. And then it drops, right? But that's
was really good.
That's all right.
Yeah, that was really good.
That's every house song.
Someone sampled this piece.
Yeah. But I think, so what has happened is, because you can't beat kill like you can in other styles, the house dancers have to rely on rhythm. And this is something I've taught in hip-hop workshops, but I think house dancers develop it the best, which is you're not only doing what the music asks of you, in the sense of like, oh, there's this hi-hat here, or there's this kick here, or there's this. In between all of this is rhythm, in the same way that if you asked a drummer to freestyle on a house song, they would do. That's what they're doing, but with their body. So it's like they're not hitting, because if they were only beat killing, it would just be doof, 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 doof. But they're going, while that doof, doof is happening, you've got 1 and a 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6 and a 7 and a 8. And if you, it's almost like if you had like, you know, like the what is the thing that Michael Jackson steps on in the beat? Is it in the Beat It video? No,
In Billie Jean.
in Billie Jean, when it's like dum dum. If you had that for house dancers, they would play a melody with their feet. You know what I mean? It would be like da 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 da, because they're using rhythms in between, in the same way that I have to shout out, DJ Renegade was the first person to give me this analogy, but it's like the dancer thinking of themselves as an added member of a band. So it's like you're not chasing the drummer, you're not chasing the guitarist, you're adding another layer to the song with your dance. And I think house is the only style that it's so apparent across the board, like in terms of every type of dancer, every style of house dancer, every level of house dancer plays with rhythm to varying levels, but plays with it well. And I think for me, this is kind of the baseline essence of what we should be doing as all street dancers and all hip hop dancers and all club dancers. But a lot of times we don't, because we get used to just chasing after what the beat says.
Yeah.
And essentially, which is something that I always say, but it's like you're just playing Guitar Hero. You're just following what it says and hitting the same things. Does that make sense? And so I think for me, like I always was in love with, I always liked house, but watching it this weekend, listening to good music, seeing the good dancers, I was like, this is really something special.
So are you going to become a house dancer?
I would actually like to take some house classes. I was thinking about that, and maybe enter some house battles at some point, because I like footwork in my hip hop anyway.
Yeah.
So I was like, that would be cool to do that, and I like the rhythmic shit. But
branch out.
Yeah, I just can barely keep up with entering hip hop battles, let alone a new style. But anyway, yeah, shout out to the house dance, shout out to the house DJ. It was really a nice moment. I think I have 2 to watches. I'll burn through them quickly and then we'll move on. Jenny from Belgium.
Oh, not me.
Not you. Another Jenny, Jenny from Belgium. She was one of my to watches for hip hop.
Nice.
I thought she was fantastic.
Yeah.
Again, not anything revolutionary to say about her, because it's like, it's just the same stuff that I like. Again, it's like I also like, especially for the to watch section, guys at home, it's like I want to highlight people who are like not as known. Of course, I could say fucking Majid. Of course, I could say Lumi and Miguel, but you guys know them.
We're already watching.
Yeah, exactly. We're already watching. The people that you should go check out is someone like Jenny, who's like, she's definitely got a lot of way to go and a lot of potential to grow. But like her style is really cool. She's very like confident and like very good performer. Especially it's also like, I'm always impressed when like short and small people can like own a space. And she really like did some good rounds and like really blew up the crowd and did some good shit. And I just think she's really creative, looks different. Also, she's another one. I spoke about Tara from the IBE podcast, but like she has this as well where it's like her dance is she's not necessarily outgoing and performing with her face, but her dance is so easy to read and clear. And I think that's also a skill. Like you don't have to shout out choreo dancers. You don't have to do a bunch of facials to be considered performing. You know, you can have a kind of chill face, but still be performing well. And I think that's an underutilized skill. People just think they do all the periscopal facials and think they're performing, which I don't think is the case. And the other one was Melissa from The House. Melissa? I got her name. Yeah,
Melissa. Yeah.
Her prelim was unreal.
So dope.
So good. And she lost in the top 16, but I also think she was really good there. And the thing I like about Melissa is her personality was like front and center of her rounds. Like technique, music, everything came second to her personality. Like she looked really different. She looked like, and I think this is the thing, when we have battle rounds and we have 1 minute, people are scared to insert certain things because they're like, well, what box will that tick? I won't, if I don't do 1,000,000 steps or 1,000,000, if I don't hit all the music, if I don't do all these foundations, I'm not going to tick boxes. And she kind of had this feeling I got of like, I'm here to dance and put my personality out there first. If I get through or if I win, great. But like that's secondary to me putting myself on stage, which I really rate. And she was really fun to watch. She was like having fun, like kind of not being silly, but a little bit like jokey stuff that made you kind of almost laugh. And she's like, you know what I mean?
You know this thing that Mavinga was saying about like during Voices about like the club or the battle type of house dancer. Like she is like literally the essence of like clubbing essence.
Yeah. I would even not be like, even if I did pop in or hip hop, I would love to cypher with Melissa for like 3 hours. Like I think she'd be so fun to exchange with in that way. So 100% agree. But those are my 2 one to watches. Go and check them out. Melissa was in the top 16 of Flavourama. Jenny, I think, did they win or did they lose in the top 16?
Let me check.
But Jenny and her partner Cassie are both great. But yeah, definitely check them out as well. Should we talk about where you've been? That's all right.
I don't know. Should we?
Let's do it.
Okay.
If they come to kick us out, they kick us out.
They turn everything off.
Shout out Red Bull. Thanks for the studio.
Thank you.
We're very grateful.
So I produced, I was one of the producers working on We Should Have Never Walked on the Moon, which was a site-wide takeover of South Bank Centre, so Royal Festival Hall and Queen Elizabeth Hall. And it was a collaboration between Rambert, South Bank, and La Horde / Ballet National de Marseille. It was great. It was huge. It's the largest scale thing that I've produced so far.
Let's go.
In a sense that it was like 80 performers, just like even more stage managers, techs, technical teams. Like it was just a huge operation. And I think like because it was like a site-wide takeover, there were performances happening in a whole bunch of different like site-specific spaces.
Yeah, I didn't realize that until I saw the videos that it was like more of a site-specific-y type of thing.
So it was like there were some I think overall, and also it was a mix of like live performances, films, and like visual art installations. So it was also kind of a multimedia like installation.
Nice.
And it was kind of it was like
what was the general like, not story but like
the theme?
What was it about?
So basically okay, so the title We Should Have Never Walked on the Moon is
a horror film, like there was aliens on the moon.
No,
you know what I mean?
Apparently, rumor has it that basically this is something that Gene Kelly, the dancer, told Buzz Aldrin, who is like the second person to go on the moon,
the only living person.
And so he said like he told him we should have never walked on the moon. That it was like kind of an insult to do something like that's kind of so like poetic, but without any kind of like art, or like it's kind of something a bit like rough to do, you know, to go like and invade a space and like take over and
I see. In that way, like you shouldn't have walked on the moon because it should be preserved.
yeah, and like kind of like there's certain things that can just be left to be mysterious and like untouched, and you know, kind of the advent of like technology makes it that we kind of want to go to these spaces that maybe we should leave, you know. And so I mean, so they took this kind of quote and made it into that's La Horde, and made it into the title. And I guess like the whole kind of a lot of, and again, maybe the way I'm explaining it like might not do justice to like their explanation, but a lot of what they look at is kind of our relationship to like power, technology, like living in a like they call it post-internet world of like
I see.
Of and like what is the position of the human body in this, and like and of people like kind of looking at different interactions and different like relationships.
Is it somewhat like anti-tech? Is that kind of the vibe? No,
it really isn't. I think there is a lot of tech, and there is a lot of like, for example, they had a whole piece that is called Deep Stream Narcisse /GTA, but it's like the whole performers move like NPCs.
Okay.
So it's like really all cool. Choreographed like NPCs, and then all their movement is inspired. But you know, they're like run at a wall.
Oh yeah.
And like, and then they're like filming each other while they're doing that. But it's like even when you see the people now, everyone is filming them doing that. So it's more like, it's not necessarily a like good or bad thing, but it's more of like, this is our relationship to ourselves.
So it's a bit of a thing of like art and like maybe like not tech necessarily, but like futurism, like meeting, and how does that interact? Yeah,
it's more like, it's not necessarily taking a position on it. It's more like, this is now our experience of like, we're living through these technologies. And we're kind of like, the digital age is impacting like our relationship to ourselves and our relationship to art, our relationship to environment. And it's like their work is very like, it's very bold in a sense that it's like, it's very kind of also breaking the like, they're the artistic directors of ballet, but they're doing a piece that's like about like sexual consent and like and
this piece.
Well, I mean, that is like a lot of what they were showing were extracts of their current piece that's called Age of Content.
Yeah, that's the one I've seen at Settlers.
Yeah. Do we have to get
up?
No. Oh. But yeah, so it's kind of like, this kind of reflection of like the day that we live in, but it's like a lot of their work is very like sexy and kind of.
I saw so many Insta stories. I was like, maybe I should have gone to see this.
But it like. It's kind of, okay, well, if we're looking at like contemporary dance and like what is our body, like what are we wanting to express, what is like the reality of our bodies in today, and expressing that through dance, then they're really kind of going far with this like idea. And you know, it's like they have a piece that it's like everyone is wearing like juicy couture, like the velvet tracksuit. And so I think it's very cool to kind of see reference points of like pop, you know. I think they're very good at like bridging pop culture with like kind of contemporary dance, but also like transcend dance because they're also film directors and they also do like visual art installations. So they don't necessarily limit themselves to a medium, and everything that they do is also like they directed Sam Smith's latest music video. I don't know if you remember the Burberry campaign of the people flying.
Yeah, that was them.
And yeah, so I was the lead producer on the Rambert side because it was a collaboration, and like the Rambert company was part of that big cast, and we also like worked with a bunch of Rambert school students to bring them in, and we recruited some community performers to be part of one of the installations, and some of them were dance and some of them were more like performance art, so kind of durational, task driven things. So
sick.
Yeah, it was 4 nights and it went really well. I think I'm also in a bubble because a lot of people that I know and that I work with, like, were there.
Yeah, sure.
But I also feel like it was kind of like the buzz of like the weekend.
I did also see a lot of people talking
everyone was like talking and posting about it. And also, like, to be fair, the work is also very Instagrammable.
Yeah.
It's very kind of cool looking.
Which I guess is one of the aims as well.
And also, if it's this site specific stuff, you're more invited to like take out your phone, because some shows and stuff is like nobody's taking out their phone, and if you do, you're looked at weird. Like these ones is like, film, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and you can kind of come and go as you want, get as close as you want or not. Like, see, like there's some people that I know they like stayed at just one piece for the full 3 hours. Like they didn't walk around, which I think is also really cool. Like, I mean, I've been like kind of on my immersive, like site specific
vibe,
like spiel for a while, but I do think that people want to be able to experience things themselves and to choose when they go in and out of stuff.
Yeah.
And even the fact that there were some performances that were in the theater, like more traditional setting, like theater audience sits in the audience. But I think people enjoy, like, they can leave halfway through a piece if they want to.
That's one of my least favorite things about the theater is like, it's like I feel like I'm held hostage.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're in the middle of there's like 10 people here, 10 people here. You're in the middle row. You can't get up. And you're like, I'm falling asleep, or I need the toilet, or I'm hungry.
And I can't go.
And I'm like, I can't leave, or you know what I mean? And it's like, I like these things where you can pop in and out.
Yeah, and also it feels like, because there were like things that were happening throughout the night. But it's also like, let's say there's like 200 people in a 900 people theater. It's like normally if that was like a show where you close the door and the show starts, it would be like, oh, that's a bit empty.
Yeah,
but then it was fine, like, because people are moving. If there's a lot of people to one, there's not a lot of people to the next. Like, you kind of have to perform all the same. And I don't know, I really like enjoy that. Or I think it's like also seeing people, like, because I was there every night, I was like had a different experience myself every night, where like one night I spent more time in one building, the other night more in one, and then one night I just spent like my time watching people, like looking how people were interacting and like and it's like the thing that I found that versus, I mean, in the theater you can't really watch people watching the thing because it's dark, but it's like people were super engaged. Like, people were really like, oh, where should we go next? And then they get to a place and then they're, it was really like actively engaged, which was really nice.
And I think a lot of people are not like that in the theater. They're literally just sitting there like.
Yeah, and I think this is, I mean, not to make this longer, but I think this is partly my theory of like why, like, I love theater and it's always going to be a thing, but it's like, I think the passive consumption of art or content is like, you do that on your phone, you can do that at home. What's the incentive to like cross town, spend like 50 quid plus transport plus XYZ to go just sit and like passively watch something? It has to be something that you're gonna love beforehand. So I think we're less willing than like at other times or like previously in like pre-pandemic or even before that, of like taking the risk to say, I'm gonna go spend a lot of money, a lot of time on watching this thing passively, when that's what we kind of do like at any time.
So how does the immersive thing change that?
Well, because I think it's like it's more an experience, because you choose, like, you curate your own experience. You're closer. You're like, your perspective can change because I don't like what I'm seeing here. I'm gonna move over there. I actually really like this piece. Let me sit with it for 45 minutes or 5 minutes. And I can grab a drink and have a chat with my friend. And then I walk in this other room and then there's something completely different. So it's like, I think that's why also when you look at things like music festivals, that people, this is still something that like hasn't been affected by, the pandemic and all of that, because it's an experience to go there. Like, going to a music festival is nothing like listening to an album at home. But I think going to theater and watching a movie is different, but it's more similar than not.
Yeah.
In some ways.
Yeah. So it's like, if you're going to pay for something that you don't know what it is, you'd rather pay for something that includes an experience than something that includes you passively sitting and watching something.
Yeah, because it's like, even if you think of like, even when it's like, when we went to the Montclair thing.
Yeah.
It's like, you wanting to go to that more than you would want to go to like see a theater show.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I think it's like, and I don't know, I just personally think that it's something that's in the like current, like,
Zeitgeist.
yeah.
I would also say, I think there's some type of like advertising signal in when something's immersive and different. The link I make is like, oh, it's an immersive, different, like there's multiple things happening at once. Or blah, blah, blah. As soon as I see that type of marketing or advertising, I think, oh, well, if they're doing that, they must be the type of organization that is like modern or audience, like they're thinking about their audience more than a theater. So I'm like, it will probably be better. Like the Montclair thing I was thinking about is like, or even the Nike thing that we went to when they launched the DNA. It's like, if you're doing this type of event, you're probably not going to stop there in terms of including the audience.
Yeah.
So then it probably means each of those events are going to be better. The venue might be better. That all the other, it kind of gives me a signal. It's like, this is the wrong way of using this phrase, but like, you know, like the dog whistle thing. It's like, it's a dog whistle to say, well, if we're thinking of this, we're also thinking of you in loads of other places. Whereas if you just throw a thing on stage, in my head, I'm like, well, there's still a good chance that the rest of the night is going to be shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you haven't tried to change. Of course, then we see Crystal Pite and we're like, fucking minds blown. But it's like, there's also a bunch of other things that I've seen at the theatre. I'm like, yeah, you literally just did a ballet piece that's boring as fuck with the same music everyone else does.
Yeah.
Threw it on stage, sold tickets, and
yeah, and it's like, you know, like we've seen it in different, like, it's not like this immersive thing is new, but I think like I like the way they think about it as well, where okay, you see things like Punch Drunk, that is like you're following a narrative and it's like very kind of story driven, of like you go in this room and then you're following the next chapter of the story. But this was more framed like a choreographic exhibition, so where it's more free roaming and like you would act in a museum, but this includes like live performance and like dance.
I love that.
And things that are like, let's say the NPC thing was like ongoing on a loop for 3 hours. And then there's other pieces that had like kind of a more specific start. Like there are some things that were like, okay, this is a 15-minute piece and it's on at 7:30, 8:30, 9:30.
But it's the same like in a museum. You would have exhibitions that are open from certain times and in certain places on certain days. And then you would have just general things that are open.
Yeah.
This is something, I mean, I still want to do this, by the way. I was thinking, should I say this? Because I still actually want to do it, but in case anyone's listening that wants to program it. But it's like, do you remember my idea for like the First Papers exhibition thing? Like, I think it would still work as a capsule thing. But like, I want to do this with street dance, where I also agree with this thing where it's like, when you go to a museum, I enjoy museums and galleries more than I enjoy theatre experiences, because I don't feel trapped. I feel like I can look at it in my own way. And also what I love, to be honest, I love sitting down and having a conversation at a gallery. Like, even if it's about the art or not about the art, just like when we take a break and we sit down and we're like, yeah, so anyway, blah blah, and it's just like you're in a nice environment, there's art everywhere. It's like, I think the environment or the venue that you're in like really makes you feel a certain way. And one thing I think would be such a sick thing, and if we ever do this, I'm going to post this clip, but it's like I want to do it like an exhibition like this, but of dancers, but in a way where you're almost it's so weird because it's like the two things that we said in one, where it's active in the sense of you can walk around and choose what you want to do, but it's passive in the sense of like, because the only other thing with this is like everyone's talking and then something starts and everyone stops talking and they all watch that thing in the corner of the room. I want to do it where you have almost like dancers on like podiums or areas that are like, there's just music playing from the beginning as soon as you walk in, and there's dancers just freestyling. So there might be a popper there might be a hip-hop dancer or whatever, and they're just freestyling for like 2-3 hours. You could rotate them or whatever the logistics would be. But I almost want to have like loads of seats and sofas and stuff. And I want to have like a coffee, like I want to like bring in like a coffee machine. So like you could like serve coffees or like alcohol or whatever. And like the whole point of it being is like, if you want to go and watch one of the dancers, and I even had the idea to like put like a little, you know, like they have the art, like the plaques that explain the art. But this one would say like Lee Putman. And it's like, Lee is a popper from and he's just there popping. But like you can read about him and his background. But like you could go and watch people Or you could just sit and have a conversation. There's just dancers here going, and you're just having a coffee, listening to good music. You know what I mean? Like,
But
I would love this. It's almost like being, in a battle or in a club where everybody's ciphering. You can go and watch a cipher, or you could just hang out and have a drink while people are dancing all around you, and it's just a nice environment to be in, I think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, that's kind of what it was, because it was like the bars were open, there was pizza, like
sick.
there was areas where you can sit, and then like in the background there's like an ongoing piece with like rave music.
I love that.
But you can kind of get away with it. Like, it was really, I mean, it was like a challenge in a lot of ways.
I'm sure.
But like a good challenge, like a great challenge.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's like the result was really something cool, and people seemed like they had a really good experience, great reviews. Like, seems like the performers had a good time also, so big win overall. Yeah.
Nice.
Congrats, Jenny.
That's like a year in the making. Ouch.
Good job, you. And shout out to Rambert.
Yeah, shout out to Rambert. Rambert, South Bank,
La Horde.
La Horde, Ballet National de Marseille. And yeah.
De Marseille.
Sick.
There's a few other things happening coming up. Should we talk about what's coming up? What is coming up?
Talking about theatre shows.
Go, talk about theatre shows.
So Sadek Beraba is coming to Sadler's.
Shout out to Sadek.
Et Géométrie Variable.
Yeah.
Choreographer.
Yeah.
With Murmuration Level 2.
Yeah,
Ooh.
I want to go see that.
From the 10th to the 20th of September. It's going to be at Peacock Theatre. So yeah, tickets on Sadler's website. And Breaking Convention presents Tentacle Tribe from Canada.
Our peoples.
So, really exciting. That's from the 8th to 11th of October.
Which you said this is the piece with everyone?
Prism. Well, everyone. It has like I think there's 6 in it.
5 dancers.
5. Venom, Céline, Elon.
Céline, she's the one I met, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Elon and Emma?
Yeah, I think Emma's dancing in it, and then Nas B as well.
Sick.
Yeah.
Need to get
so
both of them, Tentacle and Sadek, on the
That'd
pod
be really
when they
cool.
come.
Yeah.
Shout out Montreal in the building.
Montréal est dans la place.
We also have this weekend, the Vomi Boys are putting on a Light Feet event. 1K prize.
Exciting.
Ooh.
Looks like it's going to be fire, so
Very
check that
nice.
out. We're going to be there filming. When I say we, I mean me. And then you're producing an event the weekend after.
Oh my God. Wow. Little plug. Yes, it's not a
Little
dance event. Well, there is.
I'll be dancing in it, so it better be a dance event.
So
there's a battle as well, the Rain Crew.
Rain Crew battle is part of Royal Lux Originals Festival.
Is that the same day?
It was a 3 weeks long festival, so it's part of the festival.
Well, it's not on the same day that I'm performing.
It's on the 27th, I think.
Yeah.
So I'm producing this as part of the Royal Lux team. It's gonna be super dope. There's so many performances and things happening, so check out the website, Royal Lux.
Then Culture of Hype and Hope is coming up in Holland.
Nice.
On the 21st. Hip Hop and House, I believe. Evian's judging as part of the lineup. Then the weekend after, Battle Bad. I'll be there. Shout out Battle Bad. In Sarcelles.
Sarcelles.
Yep. Looking forward to being back. Love the team. Shout out to Spyro and Ludo. And Battle Bad is always a vibe I would recommend going. It is pretty gangster. If you want the Montreal love, happiness, support experience, go to JOAT.
Go to
If
Montreal.
you want war, go to Battle Bad. If you want the Parisian essence, which I love, go to Battle Bad. I think it's dope. But everyone's really nice. I'm talking more in the dance sense. Like, as much as Paris sometimes, or used to, I don't know if it's still the case, but like gets a bad rep. Every time I've been to Battle Bad, people have been just fucking so sweet and kind and lovely. So BC1 UK is happening on the 27th, I want to say. Of September.
Say it.
I want to say
because it's the truth. 27th. It's all happening on one day this year. Prelims and battles are on the same day. No, there will not be the same floor as last year. So,
from what we heard.
Well, I know they won't for sure. And then we've got the Dance to Style World Finals in October. We've got International Dance League in October. All sorts of other.
Yeah, but we have so many podcasts to do before then. So
I know. Just saying, so many exciting things coming up in this.
What's happening in 2026? Tell us.
Yeah.
2026.
What about summer 2027?
Luke will be super rich and no.
Period.
Anything else that we need to announce?
Nope.
Thanks everyone for tuning in to last week's podcast with Genevieve and Lee. And Sophia did a great job as well producing the podcast. They did a great job hosting.
If you haven't hit that bell button yet, make sure you hit that bell button. Turn on your notification.
Shout out to the guy in the comments that said, "Nah, I ain't subscribing. No, nah, I ain't
commenting.
Ain't commenting shit."
Yeah.
But that was that was even funnier because it was a comment that he commented saying, "I ain't commenting shit."
I think that was the whole point.
What a paradox.
Yeah, but we're growing. Follow us on Instagram, thecapsule.london. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed already. And
hey, also, we want to come to Asia.
Yes,
Asian
please.
people.
Yeah.
If you have some people who would like the capsule touch at their events, get in contact. Me and Sophia
and
were
just
talking
generally, like, Flavourama was such a great experience, and generally we love going to like different events. So if you're interested in working with the capsule, please reach out to Luke or to myself.
Slide in the DMs.
Yeah.
Preferably slide.
Or if you're a professional, send us an email.
Yeah. But yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in. We love you. We miss you.
That's my sign out loud.
So when you say "What's up, everyone? Welcome to the capsule," it's fine.
Yes.
Okay.
Love you. Miss you.
Love you, miss you. Sophia, what's your sign off? You don't have one. Actually, I don't have a sign off.
Yeah, you don't have a sign off.
I'm going to build a sign off for next week.
You can't because you're not a trendsetter like me. Anyways.
Sophia, what would your sign off be?
I'm not sure. I'll think about
I feel like yours is bye, guys.
Yeah, literally.
See you next week. I miss you so much already.
Stop flirting with our viewers.
Slide in the DM. I ain't scared. Scared, go to church. I know it hurts. Find out me and your man be sharing skirts. I'm hoping you don't take this the wrong way, but your body is bang, got me attracted in a strong way. Anyways, I do have to go.
All right.
I have so much.
Peace, guys.
Bye, guys.